You do talk about Islamophobia, white supremacists as well. So how do you keep it light? Well, how do you balance that?
Well, if you look at the sort of things that these people say, it is inherently funny and ridiculous. So we all agree that racism is such a ridiculous thing. So I like to look at it under a lens and say, let's just actually look at it. Let's peel back the surface and see how ridiculous it is.
Do you think there's been more Islamophobia since Brexit?
I think people have been braver since Brexit to display their bigotry. I think really since the advent of social media, I think as women you will agree that you get a lot of grief online just for being a woman with an opinion and a career. And it's the same, I think, if you're of an ethnic minority, not just Muslims, but other ethnic minorities as well. It's been increasingly getting worse. And I think with Trump's victory and Brexit, people have been braver in saying those things that were kind of not polite over the last 10, 15 years.
We were talking about this, weren't we? Saying that we feel like we've come so far and now we've gone right back again.
Yeah. We were saying because I worked at the Home Office, and when I was there, I worked on the Olympics for 4 years, preparing for the Olympics, and that summer just seemed like our country peaked. It was such an amazing summer. There was such a real feel-good factor. We were saying, look at our country, look how great it is. People had a great time. Like, petty crime went down in London during the Olympics, and then 6 years later, we're stockpiling medicine and food.
Yeah.
Tez, you moved from Blackburn to London, and now you've moved back up to Blackburn. Who's best, Northerners or Southerners?
Obviously,
Southerners. Southerners, yeah. Okay, next question.
Northerners,
next
it's like,
question.
It goes Northerners, foreigners, Southerners.
That's not very nice, Tez.
Southerners are the same thing as foreigners to you, right?
I would say worse.
Worse.
What's wrong with Southerners, Tez?
What's wrong with foreigners?
Or foreigners, but let's start with
Nothing wrong with
Northerners.
foreigners. Let's say that first of all. I think Southerners. I think
I can't wait for this. Go on.
obviously present company excluded. Obviously.
All
Hang
Southerners.
on a minute.
just
Why are you
think
assuming
careful.
that all present company are Southerners? Just because we happen to be in
Apart
London
from me
at
and
the
you,
moment.
Chris-
I'm
apart
a
from me and you-
Lancashire lass.
I know, so apart from me and you, Christine.
My parents were solid Lancashire.
So you'll agree with me that Southerners just have a really high opinion of themselves? So you'll agree with me when I say that?
I tell you what, this will be the
Quite
phone in a
rightly
minute.
so.
I
react to it.
I always tick the box for non-controversial, so I'm not going to agree with that.
So you don't agree with hashtag Southerners have a high opinion of themselves?
No, I don't. What I want to ask you is, I mean, frankly, what was wrong with working in the Home Office? Clearly,
nothing.
Mrs. May didn't make much of an impression, but I mean, to suddenly, serious question.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you've got a good, steady job, and suddenly you throw it all in to do stand-up. I mean, that's quite a leap.
It was. And I went to
No
to the Home
pension
Office.
with stand-up.
I know, God. This will be my pension here, these appearances on the right stuff.
Be careful,
I'll save all that money, but I've got to be nice to the Southerners.
I think-
I think I was at the Home Office for 10 years, and 3 years in, I decided to take up a hobby because I'd moved to London, and I don't have family and friends. I have friends, but not family down here. So I was looking for a hobby in the evening, and I just came across stand-up, and my friends always told me I was funny. So I thought, worst case scenario, I'll meet new people, make a fool of myself. I can live with both those things.
You can always go back to the Home Office if necessary, but clearly it is.
I mean, not anymore.
Yeah, they won't let it.
Let's say those
They won't let it.
bridges are burnt. But then I started doing stand-up, and it was a hobby initially, something to do in the
That's
evening.
nice, I like it.
And then it started snowballing,
Yeah.
and I found that I had a knack for it, I had
Yep.
a natural talent for it. People really liked what I did. And then I guess I got my big break at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 2015 with my solo show, Tez Talks. And then off the back of that, I've just started getting bigger and bigger, and eventually got to the point where I was earning enough money, because that was important, to leave the Home Office. And then when I left the Home Office, I also left London, because I thought, who wants to pay rent in London when you can sniff that nice air up north?